Hi, I'm Heather Gleaton. I'm here to talk to you about pancreatitis from a caretaker's perspective. My family's journey with pancreatitis started about 3 years ago when my son, who had only been in college for a month, called me to tell me that he had been hit in the abdomen with a football the day before, and now he was very, very painful, and he couldn't walk, and he was cold, and he was clammy, and he was nauseous. So I did call an ambulance for him to get him to the hospital, jumped in my car. Thankfully, he's only an hour and a half away. Met him at the hospital. The doctor at that point told us that his pancreatic enzymes were through the roof and that they could see a bruise on his pancreas from the football. So at that point, he was transferred to a trauma hospital and managed by a trauma surgeon who managed it as traumatic pancreatitis. He was sent home about 3 or 4 days later, told he could eat whatever he wanted. So 3 weeks later, we were back in the hospital, this one closer to home, with a pancreas specialist, diagnosed again with pancreatitis from a high-fat meal. He was sent home about 4 days later and again told, eat whatever you want. And one thing I would recommend anybody with pancreatitis, get a dietary recommendation or a dietitian to come in and talk to you before you leave. There's so much you need to know. So many things you need to watch for, so many things that can set this off, even medications that can set this off. Advocate for yourself and advocate for your family member if they're dealing with it. So he ended up back in the hospital 3 weeks later, this time with necrotizing pancreatitis, which necessitated a J-tube placement to allow his pancreas to heal. It also necessitated a medical withdrawal from college, which was extremely difficult as a freshman in college for him, but as his parents to see him go through this. But he had to be hooked up to a feeding tube 15 hours a day in order to get enough nutrition. So during that time, I thought it was a little strange that my son had pancreatitis, but I had also had a cousin who had had pancreatitis, and I have a nephew with type 1 diabetes, and I thought that was a lot of pancreas issues in one family. So I learned about hereditary pancreatitis. And one thing I will say also as a caretaker is don't be afraid to advocate. Advocate for your family member. So I did ask for genetic testing, and sure enough, my son has a genetic mutation in the CFTR gene, which major mutations will cause cystic fibrosis, and cystic fibrosis patients also deal with pancreatitis. Minor mutations result in hereditary pancreatitis. So his treatment changed a little bit at that point in that this is going to be a lifelong issue for him. So he started with limiting fat to 20 grams a day, and that resulted in 5 pounds of weight loss. So he's at 45 grams of fat a day. We have battled pancreatitis about 6 more times, several more hospitalizations, but we're getting better at preventing it and heading it off when it starts. I did go to the grocery store. I did teach him how to shop. I did teach him to read labels. We did learn that marbling in steak is not good. You want steak with less marbling. We did also learn that sucrose and sucralose, the artificial sweeteners, will set it off. We did also learn that you cannot drink NyQuil when you're sick because NyQuil has alcohol and it will set it off. So there are these little things that you learn over time. And unless, you talk to other people or join support groups or, get on the Facebook page, you don't learn these things. I would recommend keeping a feeding and a drink log so that if you have a bout, you can maybe figure out based on what you ate or drank what caused it. And that's how we figured out about artificial sweeteners and NyQuil. So my son's done pretty well. He does have to drink lots of sodas, unfortunately, to get those calories and to keep some weight on. He does do a lot of pastas. He does do a lot of fruit. He does do a lot of steak. He does do protein drinks, but you have to watch protein drinks because some of them are pretty high in fat. And through all of this, I got involved with the National Pancreas Foundation because I was trying to do a birthday fundraiser, something to give back, because I feel very blessed to still have my son around and to still have his health, and to be able to manage this so far. And I have started a support group in this area for people with pancreatitis, but even pancreatic cancer and diabetes. The other thing is I do compete on American Ninja Warrior, and I do test obstacles for them. And so I've come up with a new platform that I am hoping to promote. It's Pancreatic Health Awareness. This is my shirt, which I'm wearing. I am the Animal Ninja since I'm a veterinarian. This is my pancreas right here. This is the back of my shirt. It says about pancreas. So I do try to give back, but I want people to know that you're not alone, that there are others out there. We know what you're going through. It is very difficult to watch a family member suffer with this and to not be able to fix it, especially knowing that there's a hereditary cause for it. But there are a lot of low-fat recipes out there. I make a mean low-fat mac and cheese. So don't feel like you can't reach out, because we're here for you. Reach out to the community, reach out to the National Pancreas Foundation. They've been very, very helpful and supportive, and know that we are here for you.